Charleston. Namely, Patrick Charleston.
All right. Welcome to Beer Friday, brought to you by Patrick Charleston Insurance and our friends over at Secure Store 50. Adam, how are you doing?
I'm doing okay today.
Yeah?
You want to tell people what we're drinking right now?
Well, yeah, we thought we'd have a little red beer.
It is a red beer with Zing Zang. You're not a big red beer guy, are you?
No, I'm not.
I think it's delicious. So we're drinking a red beer in honor of T.M. Ashcraft, a longtime subscriber who passed away recently. He and I did a story a number of years ago. He was the guy who really pushed, promoted, marketed, and got Zing Zang, which is a wonderful mixer. You might have had it in your Bloody Marys. It makes a great red beer in pretty much every state in the country. So he was a great guy, and I looked forward to his call every year on the phone. He'd always renew by phone. And I started talking to him because he was all the way in Texas, and I was like, well, why do you take the paper? You're all the way in Texas. And he was like, explained he had a lot of background here, and then I asked him, well, what do you do out there? And he's like, oh, I was about this little, it's like a drink mixer. And he kind of like underplayed it. And I was like, oh, what's the drink mixer? He's like, Zing Zang. And I'm like, oh my God, I love Zing Zang. It's like my favorite thing ever. And he's like, well, I really like your paper. And so every year I would look forward to his call. So we would chat. So yeah, I was lucky enough to get to do a little feature on him a number of years back. And he was a really nice guy. So
yeah, cheers. Yeah, we, I think, after you wrote that feature, I got a lot of feedback on that. People had no idea they'd been drinking Zing Zang.
Yeah, and there's a Newton connection to that.
Yeah, and they had no idea about the Newton connection, which I think is always fun to kind of like, let people know about things like that.
It was a cool story.
Yeah.
So, it's been a good week for beer.
It has been a good week for beer. It's really exciting. As like a lot of you guys know, we've been working really hard to try to get the 30% rule taken off.
That would have been what you saw on the ballot. Vote yes on liquor by the drink if you didn't think there should be a food requirement.
For beer freedom.
That passed almost 70%. I think it was 67%.
Yeah. I really appreciated the newsletter that you put out that said that like we had a bunch of our signs stolen out of people's yards, and Adam was like, you can take our signs, but you can never take our beer freedom.
And I wonder if it was someone who just didn't like it, but I also kind of wonder if they just liked the sign, because I had a number of people on Tuesday, election day, being like, can I put a sign out my yard? And I'm like, you have 2 hours left before people vote. And they're like, well, I just wanted it for my garage. And I was like, all right, cool.
We do have a few extra signs
if you want to put them up in your garage,
if you want to celebrate with us and put it in your man cave,
I mean, you can throw in $5 for a sixer if you want.
Yeah, we will take beer.
We'll take donations.
Yeah, for sure.
Not for the sign, because then we have to be a political action committee.
Sure, yeah. It's off the books, guys.
It's cash, please.
Yeah, cash, services.
Yeah. Well, Bruce isn't here. This is usually the part in it where you say, hey, what's going on?
Oh, yeah, I'm supposed to ask Adam what's going on.
And I was supposed to say, well, we got a lot of interesting stories going on this week. It's been really quiet. I think it's like an election hangover where it's just everyone's like, meh.
I don't think people understand. So, like, Election Day is like newspaper hell. Because we're here until like 2 a.m. on election night. Well, so, like, Wednesday, I'm always in like this, like, haze, and I'm tired, and people are like, oh, did things not go well? It's like, no, I didn't get any sleep because it took forever to get the newspaper out.
We take Rick Pyfo, we wrote a little editorial praising him this week, but we take Rick Pyfo for granted and just like, they have results. Like this year there were some hiccups on early ballots, but they still had results wrapped up pretty darn early.
Yeah.
We've got some other counties our districts are shared with that are just clustered.
It was not Harvey County that was forcing us to be here till all hours of the morning. So if you read the article,
it's like, well, this election is likely to stand. There's a couple counties that don't have anything in, and it's like 11:30 at night or 12 at night. It's not Harvey that holds the process
No, it's not. We're really, really lucky to have such a dedicated county clerk who handles all of that really well, because not every county that surrounds us has that.
Yeah. So news-wise this week, I mean, there's going to be a little bit on some downtown development moves. So there'll probably be a story in this week or in the newsletter you're reading. We've got a ton of city meetings. It's second Monday, so there'll be plenty of government coverage. I know Sarah is working on a piece on what is going on with the hospital hotel or the hospital motel.
They're in Halstead,
Yeah, the name just went away from me. That should actually be interesting to our Halstead folks. It was interesting to me. Yeah, there's a number of little interesting pieces we're working on, but it feels kind of just it's been real quiet the last few days. I haven't gotten any more information on the explosives deal that was in the paper last week. A lot of people have asked me about it. I'm gonna try to get a follow up this week. It'll be in next week's paper, but I don't know how much is going on. That was a weird deal.
That was a super weird thing, and it was just random.
Well, yeah, that's what the story is. Is like, well, there's a guy running from police, and then he just ended up in a random garage, and they got him out of the random garage. And they found a lot of devices that looked like explosive devices, and they blew them up like over in Centennial Park. And we tried to get Wendy to get a picture of it, and then they pulled her out. They're like, well, this isn't very safe for you. But,
yeah.
Yeah. Anywho, that's that.
It's been an interesting week. We're excited about the beer freedom passing. We've got some cool stuff coming up.
I was
in the
hoping to
paper.
get a story in this week about some developments because of the beer freedom passing, but I don't know.
We've heard a few rumors, but we can't confirm
why is it
anything.
in the paper? And it's like, well, I got to get the owners to talk to me.
Yeah.
And like, yeah. So
Cross your fingers, guys.
Everybody else's timetable. But,
we're hoping that this leads to a tap house or a brewery in the near future.
Yeah, that would be super nice. It'd be nice to do something. We could do a little follow up on, like, it's been almost a year since Moxie's closed.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it closed in December.
Yeah.
And there's just like, I mean, there's like a big gap on like trivia, on karaoke. I know like the Legion is doing a karaoke night once a month now. You've got trivia at the library. You've got trivia at Acapulco. I think they had trivia
I
Thursday.
think they did a trivia, yeah.
So they're trying to fill this gap here, but I don't know.
It is funny, like, I know a lot of people are like, well, you know, the bars and stuff, but it's like, people really do want somewhere to go at night and do something occasionally.
Occasionally,
and I think
not
a lot
all
of people,
the time.
I think a lot of people can do that responsibly, and it's just a nice to have something open after 5:30 in this town. And I'm really looking forward to the day that is a reality.
That would be super cool. We tried to do our part here. So thanks for everybody who voted in favor of moving us past the year 1920.
Yes, we appreciate that very much. So,
but yeah, that's all I got, man. We've been rambling long enough.
Yeah. All right. Well, hey, cheers.
Happy weekend. Be safe and kind.